Cali.
You're welcome.
See
You're
Cali.
welcome.
I love it. All right, man.
So, are you in an undisclosed location, or are you just in a quiet garage?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
undisclosed location. Does it sound real bad?
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
sounds
Not
great.
at all.
Sound good, actually.
Oh,
Really
okay. I think I'm actually on my
Everybody.
AirPods.
I am so happy Jeremy is here because
too. He's
I
sick
was
of
gonna.
talking to me.
Justin sent me a text today that says, "Oh, we're gonna need the whole hour to talk about this chapter," and I was gonna play my favorite game on this podcast called "Prove It." But now-
Prove
Because
it. Are we live? We're
to
live?
somebody-
Okay,
to somebody who's read the other 10 books,
prove it.
For someone who's read the other 10 books, I'm sure this is really important. For someone who has read up to this chapter, it's just another setup. It's like watching a show. They're just setting something up, and we hope we get there.
How dare you? First of all, how dare you?
Thank
Second
you,
of
Jeremy.
all,
Thank you.
I'm starting to feel your pain, Des. I started, I want to say reading, but let's just be honest. It's listening to books, the Brandon Sanderson books, The Way of Kings and all that. And I'll find myself going, wait, who's this guy? Wait, what's he doing? And then I was like, oh, this is how Des feels all the time. He always feels like this. Like, I don't, wait, who is this guy? He got mentioned 2 books ago. Okay.
Have we met Igwin? Is she? Should I know who that is?
Yeah, you might not know that she's the star of the show, the TV show.
Oh, that Igwin. Okay.
Yeah, that one.
She's if you guys didn't know, Egwene is the dragon. That's fine. That's fine. There's actually 3 dragons. We call them.
I hate the show so much.
So what?
I'm starting to hate the books because of it too.
I look at my books on the shelf sometimes, and I'm just like,
I get upset. I'm not lying. Seriously, I was listening to it. And I'm like, God. I'm really excited actually that we hit this because I was listening to this and I got really excited because I know what's coming and like Des said, it's for someone who knows what's coming, it's excited, but for someone who doesn't know what's coming, it's like, oh God. At least the books do have payoff, and at least once to 4 times in every book there's great payoff. So we can't say that about season 1 and 2.
It's why I'm so happy I never got tattoos when I was younger, because 2 of the things that I would have gotten tattooed on my body would have been this, the Wheel of Time stuff and Star Wars stuff. And I've been like, okay, how much is getting a tattoo removed? Oh, wow. Okay. How much pain is it? Oh God. Okay. Well, it's gotta be done.
I'm actually going to go on. I might go on Friday the 13th and see if I can get a cheap tattoo of some dice on my hand.
Good luck.
For Matt.
Good luck.
Oh, Matt. Okay.
It's a great idea.
Why not? They're going to get wrinkly and age spotted anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm going to get
I'm
going to get a penis tattooed on my face just to give me the drive I need to become a rap star, because can't work at Taco Bell.
You're
with
just not
on your
motivated.
Face.
You cannot.
Just not motivated.
This lady came in today, and we started talking about tattoos, and why she decided to tell me that she had a taco on her ass with someone like flipping the finger. I'm not sure how that works out exactly. Maybe they've got little arms and legs. Maybe there's just a hand shooting out of the taco with the finger. I also didn't know if it was maybe a euphemism for something else. So I was just like, oh, that's gross. See you later. Have a great day. Do you need a receipt? Jesus Christ.
That's amazing. I have the same thing, but it's a gordita.
How's yours? Does it have arms and legs, or is there just a fist coming out of it?
It does.
Is it an Uncle Chico like bird, or is it like an angry one? Is it like a hello,
No.
I love you kind of?
It's a hello, I love you, definitely. Yeah, and on the other side, I got a bell beaver.
About our Uncle Chico, Des.
Oh yeah.
that was we were allowed to like flip him off back. At least I was like, you could flip him off back. It was like the only
at like
time
7, he'd flip us off.
Yeah, and like you were, at least I don't know if you were, Jeremy, but like my parents were like, you can flip him off back. Like it's okay to flip the bird to him because it's like.
No, my parents were absolutely not.
See,
I didn't think so. I had a feeling that I was probably could take a guess on that one, but
My mom would have preferred would have preferred that to
You were a pervert?
to who we called Uncle Butthead. As in he would
Why?
headbutt me. Because he would headbutt me.
Oh
a lot.
wow.
And to my little 8-year-old noggin, I think she would have wished I was flipping him the bird instead of getting headbutted.
Nowadays they'd be like the CTE.
Yeah, it was not a lot. I mean, it wasn't concussion causing, but it also wasn't. It wasn't a honey. I don't know if you guys know what a honey is.
No, what's that?
Honey's just when you kind of put your heads together and just kind of send each other a little bit of energy. Nice.
It's kind of like brain. It's kind of like brain freeze.
Can I ask you where you heard that reference, Honey?
Hey, if you guys want to check out another great podcast, go check out Truth Not Trends with Liam Bauer and Jesse. Why can't I think of Jesse? Hasn't been on a couple episodes because I can't remember. So I can't remember his last name. Liam Bauer, and he's my strength trainer, and he gives me honies.
Okay,
that's right.
I'd like to know the origin of the honey.
It's some
Sounds
island.
Very Canadian.
They're
UK, aren't they, Des?
Therefore, I don't like it.
No.
It's freaking Canadians. Canadians are nice. I deal with Canadians all the time.
So, Jeremy, are you just bored tonight, or were you like
so bored?
I gotta make sure these guys know how to pronounce Rhuidean, Rhuidean.
Rhuidean.
See,
I was listening to the podcast.
It was named after a guy who's got his cousin makes sausages. His name's Jim Dean. It's like Roy Dean is his cousin. They're friends.
It's true.
Oh, Roy Dean, like Suan.
Roy Dean.
Yeah, like Suan.
They pronounce it Roy Dean. And I'm like, are we in Georgia?
Yeah, it's like the white trash pronunciation of everything.
Roy Dean.
No, I keep listening to your guys' podcasts, and I'm like, well, these guys don't know what they're talking about. My God, I got to go back on.
I know.
Straight.
Right?
I say it every episode. Where is the person who actually corrects me all the time when I'm fucking dead wrong? You think I'd be right about some of this stuff, but the ada hada keeps me from forming proper conclusions.
There's a saying Kelly and I have: stupid makes you stupid. And I am just sucking the knowledge out of your brain. You're just like, I don't know who that is anymore because Desmond keeps asking me about him. He's drained the information.
It's draining my will to live. Anyways, you guys better get started, else we're gonna have no time left.
Yeah, I know. Okay, you know what? It's fine. Where are we at? We're in Roy Dean. First of all,
you know what? If Justin has anything to say after the 30-minute mark, he's lying.
No, that's not true. Okay, all right.
He's moved on to the next chapter.
I did start listening to the next chapter. Fuck. And I got a little confused. So we're pretty much Matt's POV this whole chapter. And they're just outside of Rhuidean, and they have this wall of fog, sort of like the Central Valley. Jeremy, you're used to it. Some of the stuff that our parents made us drive in when we were kids to work.
Oh, I still have to drive in it, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, but your parents, you wouldn't make Cooper driving that shit to work for you.
I absolutely would. I would force him to.
Well, then
I would force him to drive me.
Yeah, that's different. I used to drive my dad around too when he had beers.
Just to drag this out a little bit further, everyone out there, I moved 10 miles away from my old house, but I moved to the other side of the hill, and it's foggy. You would think that the bay side of the hill would be foggier, but no. The stuff that creeps over the hill and lands on top of our house is fucking nasty.
The road to this.
Are you just gonna play the whole chapter?
I'm gonna play just. That'll fine. We don't have to talk anymore. We just say whatever we want. No, I'm just gonna play the clip first off because it's like that's the only clip I have, and it's the very beginning of the chapter. So
and I just want to clarify this is a good chapter, but it's another chapter in a long line of something's coming.
This is a good chapter, except for people who hate reading.
You know, when I listen to this show now,
we talk about books.
I might have to move my therapy up to every week because I love every other week when I get to listen to this show on the way to and from my therapist. It's perfect.
I hate him. I hate him. Is your therapy about me?
It's just, I was like, you know what? I was going to tell you about like real issues in my life, but I just got to tell you, fucking
Fatty pisses me off.
I mean, did Rand, did he conjure the water? I don't know.
Is he Queen the Dragon? I don't know.
Tell me, Troy, what am I paying you for?
God damn it. All right. We're gonna chapter 24 or Rhuidean, very beginning of the chapter, just like a minute and a half, real quick.
That mouth was not making moisture anymore. Not been for some time. Spitting it out, he squatted beside Rand and stared at the billowing gray wall, maybe 30 paces in front of them.
Did parents ever tell you to suck on a stone?
Fog.
Instead of water?
He hoped at least it was cooler in there than out here. And some water would be appreciated. His lips were cracking. He pulled the scarf from around his head and wiped his face, but there was not much sweat to dampen.
Oh, what? Did all the chapstick get lost in the breaking?
A place to sit down. His feet felt like cooked sausages inside his boots. He felt pretty well cooked all over, for that matter. The fog stretched left and right, better than a mile, and bulked over his head like a towering cliff. A cliff of thick mist in the middle of a barren, blistered valley. There had to be water in there. Why doesn't it burn off? He did not like that part of it. Fooling with the power had brought him here, and now it seemed he had to fool with it again. Light. I want to be free of the Power and Aes Sedai. Burn me, I do. Anything not to think of stepping into that fog for just a minute more. That was Egwene's Aiel friend I saw running, he croaked. Running in this heat. Just...
And she's nude. So they're about to go into... What?
There's one thing I was going to talk to you guys about. You guys were asking, like, so Rand goes through the glass columns, and you were saying Avienda is going to go through the glass columns. But she doesn't go through the glass columns. She goes through
something else.
She goes through the rings that are just like the ones in the tower.
Yeah, are they archways or rings laying on the ground flat?
They're archways. I think they're just like the ones that they describe at the bottom of the tower. That's why she has to go nude, because just like they do in the tower.
I thought it was just a stupid sex thing from Eleanor Rigby. Like, oh, the boys get to wear their pants because nobody wants to see their wieners.
They'd have to take off their pantaloons.
I tell everyone the same thing when they want to come in my studio.
Sorry.
Girls nude, boys strap up. Oh my God. So yeah. So right after this, Des, like what you're saying, you get to hear Matt's kind of selfish logic, just typical Matt. He's like, look, they said I had to come here. Do I have to do anything? Can I just sit here? And Rand's like, well, I had to come for everybody. He goes, I don't have to come. They didn't tell me I had to come. So obviously you see that they had vastly different answers in the ter'angreal. And then Rand basically uses, like you said, Des, does he magic the water up? Yeah, he de-magics the water up. He goes deep down and like finds it. It's very, very deep. It's like a huge aquifer like you'd find in like Arizona or something way, 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 way down. And then boom. And then once he blessed it, then it comes up. And Jeremy, this is a question. This is why I really, really wanted you here. So the fog at Rhuidean is it's magically contained, right? It doesn't just sit there forever.
Yeah, that's how the sausage is made at the Rhuidean.
Okay,
it's held together by the fog.
I will fuck up some Rhuidean sausage.
It has something. It has something to do with it because eventually something happens. Spoiler alert: where the fog
right
dissipates.
And as they're kind of walking through, they're seeing stuff that's really important. They talk about there's all these like kind of larger pillars and things, and then the pillars that Rand walks into. It's like it's a ter'angreal cache of. And as you get further in the story, they tried to haul a lot of it off, but the stuff that's still there, it's like stuff that was too big to move by a cart,
So what's Rhuidean originally? What was there like? We probably don't know yet, but spoilers everybody. Like, what was it before the breaking?
It was nothing before the breaking.
It was nothing before the breaking.
So what kind of happens is,
but there's a huge. They keep talking about this huge abandoned city. Was it just a city?
It's not abandoned. It's not finished.
It never really got populated. You have you're going to see it coming up in the next few chapters. Yeah. Yep. They'll tell the whole backstory of what happens.
So
without giving too much away.
So it's Sudden Valley from Arrested Development.
Yes, sort of.
Yes, sort of.
Sorry.
A little bit. It was a place for one of the Aiel clans to live.
But by the time they got there, it was there's not much. There's none left.
Right. Jeremy, is this a question without? Were they building it? Did they start building it after the breaking as a sanctuary for the Gen Aiel, or excuse me, for the Aiel that we're going to go there?
I think it was
already like.
It was more for the things that they had with them, like the Chora trees or Cora trees.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Was it? Did they were traveling around with the Cora trees and like the Terran girls and stuff?
And the Terran
girl after the break? Yeah. Was that just during the War of Power and the Age of Legends, like towards the end, or was it after the breaking had started?
It was after the breaking had started. So if you think about because what happens is the War of Power, it kind of ends, right? And then they load up everything and they start taking it away, and then there's like a bunch of stuff starts happening. They're traveling for probably hundreds of years, like just like a wagon train.
Like a couple of generations of Aiel, but Aes Sedai live so long.
Exactly. And plus, so they have all this stuff. And then I think what happens is they start having like maybe prophecies of like, hey, you need to go to this place and you need to build this.
Oh.
And you need to put this stuff here so that when the time comes, the dragon will have access to it.
Right. Because those are like that one of the things that he does come across as they're walking through the square, and Matt actually even notices Rand's kind of on a mission, and he stops and he looks at these two statues, and those are the Choden Call statues that we've talked about. They are the access keys to the thing that he came across with Lanfear that's like half buried in the ground, the big spear, and she's kind of like, we need to move on because even she's scared of how much power he could wield if he tapped into the Choden Call. It's the most powerful Sawing Girl ever made.
If he just touches it, it's going to be like it would be bad.
He didn't at this point, if he were to get a hold of it, he would go. Yeah, if he would have tried to channel at that point when he saw the big one, he would have been burnt out.
The Breaking Part 2, Breaking
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, thank you.
Rand's Boogaloo.
Choden Boogaloo.
I don't think that's how you say it.
That's definitely not how you say it.
Oh, so Matt and Rand are here to save the city center. What are they saving?
Oh, they're saving the what is it?
What is it?
Damn it. Oh my God. What is it called? The community center.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. There you go.
Oh God, I should know that.
I will shut this shit down.
God.
Wasn't there an episode of Community like that where they're like, we got to save the community center?
I'm sure there was. That sounds right up. And I'm sure they break dance to save it too.
Probably.
Only if it's fucking Chevy Chase doing it, I wish.
And by the way, the only reason I was barely on time tonight was because we had to watch the Parks and Rec with John Ralphio and Mona Lisa. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Now, don't be suspicious.
Money, please.
So great.
When they fake their own death and they're like hiding in the park watching it. Is that the episode you're talking about?
That's the one. Episode? Yeah. Because I forgot it was a 45-minute
characters.
Oh,
I will never. So it's hard when because he's a pretty good actor, but when you see him in something, he will never be anything but John Ralphio.
Are you guys watching St. Dennis?
I have seen it advertised. Is it funny?
It's good. It's the new Office in a good way, which I guess that's not real.
It's like a Scrubs.
It's the Office.
Type,
it's the Office in a hospital.
Nice.
But who's in it?
The mom from she's in a lot of other stuff too, but I always fucking forget her
And what
name.
what channel's it on too?
I've been watching it on Peacock, but it's probably on
okay.
Hulu or
it's got dude from Living Color, David Allen Greer in it.
yeah.
He was the one person I saw. Somebody's like, I'm kind of like the Aretha Franklin of this place or something, and it's just like I can't remember his response, but I remember just laughing my ass off.
The mom from Goldberg's, who was also in Reno 911.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
Blonde gal. She's
Yeah,
fucking funny.
It's so funny to see her because she played a mom so well, and she's so not a 50-year-old mom.
She's
okay, anyway, check out Say Dennis, everybody. It's a good new show.
Okay.
So, okay. All right, I'm going to go to Wi-Fi here, see if that helps my connection.
Well, and so they're going through, like you said, Des, trying to find the community center.
Yeah.
And they start talking about, he's like, it looks like there was trees parked here, and it was like almost going to be like a nursery for the Chora trees, because there's one they find that's like the tree of life, the thing that the Waygates have that they move the leaf to make it open and everything. That's the tree that they're talking about. I think this is the only one left in the world, isn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Or is there was one at the Eye of the World, but it's gone now, right?
No, it wasn't. They always thought that the Green Man was supposed to be taking care of it, and so when they're like, "Hey, where's the Tree of Life?" and he's like, "What?" Remember? I don't know if you remember that. They do that in the.
I don't remember that. Really?
Yeah, he's like, "What? It's not here." And then he looks at Rand and goes, "You should know that, right? You're because you're not one of the, okay."
No, you're not one of those guys. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, go back and read it. It's actually like telling.
Dude, I'll have to check that out. That's funny. Weird. I've never noticed that. Once Matt is alone, Rand goes off to go see his thing. Once Matt's alone, what's up?
The Korra are genetically engineered organisms originally created using the One Power. They emit an aura of peace and well-being.
Yep.
So,
that's Matt and Rand both talk about it, right?
I feel like if Matt had pulled a leaf off of it, something would have happened. I don't feel like you're just going to pluck a leaf off.
He tried.
I know, but he couldn't reach it, and I can't help but think that was probably a good thing.
Let's just say foreshadowing, shall we?
Yeah, that's this whole fucking chapter. This fucking this chapter should be called "Check Back in 2 Books."
Like The Empire Strikes Back. It's a bummer.
Again, if there were 3 Empire Strikes Back in between Star Wars and Jedi.
Oh, wait till you get to book fucking 9 and 10, buddy.
Oh man, you're gonna get to 3 The Last Jedis in a row, and you're gonna be like, "What? Didn't we just read this book?" Could have sworn
See that lovely head of silver hair you have? It's gonna be gone, buddy.
Justin, when that happens, we will be celebrating my 55th birthday on air.
Sounds good, brother. 10 years from now. But Matt starts thinking about treasure. He starts fucking kind of like poking around for stuff, like because he's got the Adaheda, he's got the ADHD, he doesn't know what to do with himself. And he starts looking around, and lo and behold, what does he see? Jeremy, you wanna chime in? What does he see?
He sees a redstone doorway. Twisted redstone doorway. He's like, "Oh, I'm going. You thought you could get away? I'm going at you now."
He's like, "Yeah, you fucking tricksters, Des. you held it for so long, I almost believed that you didn't know where." I'm like, did he really not get that he went through another doorway? Jesus Christ.
So Rand goes through the door first. Rand's like, "I'm here to do my thing."
Rand goes into those columns. It's completely different.
Well, it's a different doorway, but he vanishes into wherever we're gonna find him next chapter.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of like glass columns. Like I think when I'm described, I think of it as like a fun house, like when you go into the mirror and you can't figure out which way to go.
And then Matt is thinking about not going. Well, he just doesn't want to follow. Oh, that's right, because he doesn't want to follow Rand. He's like, "I don't want to go in there," but then he finds the red doorway, and he's like, "That's the place to be."
He's like, "Yeah." Well, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get me some more answers."
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go make Well, and doesn't Rand say to not follow him? He's like, you're not Aiel, so you either nothing will happen or you'll like die. Who knows? Like, I don't know.
Or you'll become a clan chief, with Matt absolutely doesn't want. He's like,
yeah, well, they wouldn't let that happen. If he came out as a clan chief, they'd kill him.
You're going to find out that he can't do like he probably would have walked through and nothing would have happened. It would just been like, that's nothing.
Exactly.
Why is there an orange Julius in here?
What?
It turns out it was just a maze.
There's Matt just walks in. There's a Spencer's Gift on the left and a Claire's on the right.
And it wasn't the Tri-Wizard tournament after all.
So we'll get to Rand later.
Yeah, we'll get to Rand later. But Matt goes through the doorway. And he's kind of like, oh, it's going to be the same. And then obviously it's sort of the same, but not really. And these are the foxes. The first people, when he went through, they were he said they reminded him they were kind of snaky, like snake-like, serpent-like. These people, he said they're more fox-like. They have kind of like a red mohawk crest down their back. And they're wearing, I don't know, the way it's described, it's like the leather, like daddy outfits in Dodgeball. But I picture it as being like, they have this like kind of like leather kilt with almost like lederhosen, but kilty instead. But it's made out of.
And the other guys are dressed like the Cobras.
Humans. Yeah, the Cobras.
Like Ben Stiller's Cobras.
Exactly.
As Jason Bateman would say, wow, that's rad.
Oh,
it's a bold strategy,
Cotton. Right in his beak, Cotton.
Oh.
God damn it.
I'm shocked.
Dude, Jason Bateman is so funny, dude. Oh my God. He doesn't have any balls, Cotton. So he gets in and, immediately he's like, kind of like talking shit to them. Or he's kind of like, well, if I don't get my answers this time, and you better not try to trick me and this and that and the other thing. And he turns around and then like, there's nothing. His guide is gone. There's nothing there. And he turns around again. And then there's 5 people on this one, right, Jeremy? And there's only 3 for the snakes.
What did the eelfin ask him? Because I remember the questions at the end of the chapter, but what did the eelfin ask him?
You mean the first doorway?
No, it says he is greeted by one of the eelfin who asked him the same questions about iron, musical instruments, and devices for making light, and Matt confirms he did not bring. Oh, they just made sure his pockets were empty.
Because it's like, as in any magical story, those are their weaknesses: fire, iron, or does iron not
water, earth, air. Sorry, that was my last airbender.
Captain Planet. Oh, Last Airbender. Wait, that's probably cooler than Captain Planet.
That's way better. Hey, sorry, I had to walk away. I had to use the bathroom, but I learned my mistake for the first time I was on.
Dang it. It's so funny when you pee on air. It's the best thing ever. And you're like,
twice. It's happened to me twice.
Dude, it's just like completely oblivious to it. It's the greatest thing ever.
I was like, well, I started. I can't stop.
Yeah. Ow, it burns when I stop.
Sting. Can't stop. It'll sting.
You guys can hear it. You guys can hear that? Oh, no. So is it because they're susceptible to iron, Matt, Jeremy?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's
yeah. When you bring music, hypnotizes them. Fire or like bright lights kind of like dazzle them and kind of stuns them for a second, and then iron could kill them. But they always bring like bronze.
Oh my God, they're Mogwai.
Don't feed.
You can't get them wet either,
midnight, bruh. No, that's how they multiply. The saber.
That's funny.
But Matt is Matt is very shit talky and threatening them, and you can tell they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Also, one of the things they say, and Jeremy, please confirm or deny, they say it's been a long time since anyone has come here. My thoughts are because nobody goes to Rhuidean, and when they do, they go through the columns and then they fucking leave, or they go through the arches and they leave. They don't go poking around. But the one in Tyr has been used off and on over the last 300 years, by the first of Mayen and others.
Yep.
So they've obviously had a few visitors, right? Okay, cool. That's kind of what I was like. That's something, after 30 times, I'm like, oh shit, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Let's see. I think that's almost all I got. I'm like, yeah. I have daddy / kilt / Oktoberfest equals eelfin.
Yeah, they're definitely lederhosen.
Yeah, but they're like leather lederhosen made out of like human skin, though. Or at least
Yeah,
that's what
obviously.
Matt says.
What do you make yours?
What
do you make yours
what
out
are
of?
your hosen made out of, dude? No, they are German.
Cotton.
They're late World War II ones, not early ones.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
They were running out of stuff.
So does he? So does he end up? So he walks in this star-shaped room, gets asked if his pockets are clean. He says yes.
Ed McMahon's there.
They walk. They walk.
He wins the Publishers Clearinghouse big check.
Star
all
Search.
good.
Star
Search. Dang it! I was close. Fuck. You are correct, sir. Yes. It was so hot. I saw a robin dipping his worm in Nestea.
And
That's a
here's
Don and Mike
Sinbad.
joke, isn't it?
That wasn't.
Isn't
No,
that
it
a
was.
Don
It
and
was
Mike
that.
joke, Jeremy?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, they had. That was the Johnny Carson.
Yeah, but it was like Mike O'Meara like doing the Johnny Carson voice.
Oh, yeah.
And Ed McMahon both.
Does anybody have in their
Oh, God.
pockets rouge, paper clips, and a penny?
Oh my god!
That was when he wore the headdress, dude.
So he walks for a while, and then he basically ends up in the same. It's the same type of room, but based on this being a magical place, it's the exact same place, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the exact same place.
You kind of froze. I didn't catch the whole question.
Sorry about that. So he walks into a star-shaped room, walks for a mile, and then ends up in a star-shaped room. He comes back to the exact same star-shaped room because he's in.
Yeah, because he says he's been gone for like almost an hour, right? Or has Rand been gone an hour or whatever? I forgot. I do have one more clip to kind of end with, but it's part of how Matt ends. So.
Oh, this is the end. Well, this isn't the end of Matt, but spoiler alert: he dies.
No, the end of the chapter. The end of the.
Yeah,
chapter.
you mean when Matt dies?
He's supposed to die. Like
spoiler.
I know. That's why
What is dead anyway?
I've been waiting.
He was
for
only
Matt
mostly dead.
to die for bring out
mostly dead. I need a miracle.
Bring out your dead.
He said to Blave.
Bring out your
to
dead.
Blave. He clearly
Bring
said
out
to
your
Blave.
dead. Bring out your dead.
I am the Dread Pirate Robots. Let's just watch that movie.
Let's do it.
Oh god.
Oh man. Side note right
could...
now. So, side note, there's this show on Hulu that I've been watching called The Dark Side of the Ring. I think that's what it's called.
Oh,
It's a Vice thing. Did you watch it too?
I feel like
It's
I
a
watched.
what?
It's definitely been on my list. I can't remember if I ever pushed play on it, but
It's called The Dark Side of the Ring. It's about wrestling. And it's just like all the horror stories of wrestling, man.
Oh god. Yeah,
I had not
dude,
realized, dude, I did not realize how many wrestlers have been murdered. Straight up murdered.
really,
And
okay, I have not seen this then.
So each one, like each episode, talks about a different wrestler or scandal or something like that. Dude, I stopped watching wrestling in like 1990. I have no idea what happened after that or anything, but I watched more documentaries on
I might have
wrestling.
watched a couple of it, like, you know, like when The Rock and Stone Cold were like really big. Like I might have came across a couple late night or something, but yeah, I never watched wrestling after that. So
yeah, you and me probably stopped watching it about the same time, right? Did you know Miss Elizabeth's dead?
No.
I did know that for some reason. Yeah, I didn't know that
until recently. She died.
Yeah, like she died like in like.
Did you know that Jimmy Superfly Snuka probably murdered somebody? Probably murdered his girlfriend.
You know what? He's like a Polynesian, like mafia cat. Doesn't like surprise me that much, but I mean, yeah.
You guys should watch this and just be like, whoa.
Have you? Was it? I think it was a Chris Benoit.
Oh
like,
yeah,
murdered his fucking family, right? Like
there was a 2-part one on that. But
did he murder his wife and his kids or some shit? Like it was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad.
It was a sad one to watch, man.
So speaking of tales from the ring, does anyone else on this call want the half hour back that they spent watching the Tyson Paul fight?
Oh God,
No, because I didn't watch it. So
I watched it. Yes, it was terrible. I would like to
Oh.
get that time back, please.
was it just really, really bad?
It was
I think Mike Tyson threw 30 punches.
Tyson was
Really?
old and Logan Paul was nice.
Yeah,
The two
he
things you
was-
don't.
That's what I
wanna
heard. That was
see.
the one thing I did heard is like he kind of just started clutching because he like didn't want to hurt him. I'm like, really? Because I thought Mike would at least fight. It would be a pretty good fight, but
Well, the first couple
He's
rounds,
almost 60, man.
Tyson won the first 2 rounds, and Paul was like, "All right, let's box, motherfucker." And then by the 5th round, he's like, "Oh, this poor guy."
he's just punched out. He's like, oh yeah, you're 60.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
father time, dude. It's no sweat off your foot. It's like no, it's not. It's not to diss you.
Undefeated.
You're still Mike Tyson. Yeah,
Father time
still
is
Mike Tyson,
undefeated.
but yep, so's pussy. Or whatever your version of getting sex is. So sex is. Sorry, that was terrible. Can we cut that out? Is there editing? I met cats. I love cats.
Too late.
And they are damn. Okay, let's play
This
that
thing-
clip, shall we?
This thing needs a dump button, like on live TV when they can.
Yeah.
I need a
Last
dump
one.
button, period, and like an
Right.
8-second delay.
Mhm.
Like we can't say that. God damn it!
Hit the dump
All
button.
right.
Hit the dump button.
Dump.
Dump it, motherfucker. All right, I might skip ahead a little bit because I'm not sure exactly where this is, but it's Matt.
The others women, their stiff hair rising in a crest before spilling down their backs.
Everybody loves,
All wore
Stiff
long
hair.
white skirts that hid their feet.
especially
The
when
women
it's
had on
Reminds
ginger.
me
white
of Bridget
blouses that
Nelson.
fell below their hips with high
Red
lace
Sonja.
straps and heavy ruffles at
Oh
the
yes,
wrists.
dude.
The men wore even more straps than the guide, wider. and
What if there's
studded
like the
with
opposite of
gold.
albino ones and they're like Grace
Each
Jones?
harness supported a pair of bare-bladed knives on the wearer's chest. Bronze blades,
I
Matt
have your
judged from the
Queen
color.
Furiosa.
But he would have given all the gold in his possession for just one of them. Speak, one of the women said in that growling voice. By the ancient treaty, here is agreement made. What is your need? Speak. Matt hesitated. That was not what the snaky people had said.
The snaky
They were all
people.
staring at him like foxes staring at
Is
dinner.
that their official name?
Who is the daughter of the 9 moons, and why do I have to marry her? He hoped they would count that as one question. No
That's
one
pretty
answered.
sweet.
None of them spoke. They just continued to stare at him with those big pale eyes. You were supposed to answer, he said. Silence. Burn your bones to ash. Answer me. Who is the daughter of the 9 moons, and why do I have to marry her? How will I die and live again? What does it mean that I have to give up half the light of the world? Those are my 3 questions. Say something. Dead silence. He could hear himself breathing. hear the
Nothing.
blood throbbing in
Nothing
his
at
ears.
all. Fuckers.
I have no intention of marrying, and I have no intention of dying either, whether I am supposed to live again or not. I walk around with holes in my memory, holes in my life, and you stare at me like idiots. If I had my way, I would want those holes filled.
Okay, real quick before you hear what he has to say, and Jeremy, please, if I'm wrong, tell me, fucking dumbass, shut up. Okay, the first one that was the eelfin, correct? Like with the E's.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
because they're snakies. That's the only reason how I can remember kind of AE. They answer questions very cryptically, and you're supposed to agree on like you don't have to pay a price for them, do you, Jeremy? You can ask your questions and then you just good luck getting out of here, right?
No, you'll pay a price. It's just better to set that price before you start rambling.
For these guys, yes, they mention it, but is it the same for the other ones? Because I don't remember him discussing any kind of a price.
No, I don't think it's the same. I think you're right. You don't have to set a price.
It's like, well, you don't have to set a price, but also
they
good luck
exact
getting
something.
out of here. Yeah, these guys, they are more like a genie, a shitty one. They grant wishes, but if you're not smart enough to word your price, they will kill you or keep you there forever. And if you don't name it with like, you have to close all your loopholes or you won't be able to fucking get out of there. Inadvertently, Matt asked that helps him out in the long run because he, like pretty much no one else in the world, gets to enter this realm, which is called Sindal, for a third time way later in the books. Inadvertently he asks for 3 things and they grant them, and the price is, like you said, him dying. and his
No,
rest. He said,
no, I said I wanted a 12-inch penis.
Yeah, no. He said the first one. He says he goes, if I had my way, I'd like to be free of Aes Sedai and the power. That's the first one.
Does he? I don't. I can. I'm reading that right now in the Cliff Notes, but I do not remember him saying that.
He's
remember
about
him
to right
starting.
now. I'm gonna back up a little bit, but he's
Okay.
He's. Do they start getting ready to like
But he
throw him out, or
he
they
already-
just are like ask your questions, or you know?
Yeah, because he asks 2 questions, which he's hoping is only one, and he's staring at them,
Right.
waiting for them to answer that before he continues. But they're just like,
But they don't answer questions. That's why they're like deadpan. And then when he
Yeah.
makes requests, they're like done. And that's where this comes in.
Yep.
At least answers to my questions might fill some in my future. You have to answer. Done. One of the men growled.
Said I'd
and
like to
Matt
be free of the
blinked.
power.
Done? What was done? What did he mean? Burn your eyes, he muttered. Burn your souls. You are as bad as Aes Sedai. Well, I want a way to be free of Aes Sedai and the power. And I want to be away from you and back to Rhuidean. If you will not answer me, open a door and let me. Done, another man said, and one of the women echoed, done. Matt scanned the walls, then glared, turning to take them all in, standing up there in their pedestals, staring down at him. Done? What is done? I see no door. You lying goat-fathered fool, a woman said in a whispered growl, and others repeated it. Fool, fool, fool. Wise to ask leave-taking when you set no price, no terms, yet fool not to first agree on price. We will set the price. They spoke so quickly he could not tell which said what. What was asked will be given. The price will be paid. Burn you, he shouted. What are you talking? Utter darkness closed around him.
So the first thing he says is, I want these holes in my memory filled. Then he says, I'd like a way to be free of Aes Sedai and the power. And
again,
he says,
those are his 4th, 5th, and 6th question.
those aren't questions. Those were requests. That's the difference between the Eelfin and the Aelfin. The Eelfin will answer your questions. The Aelfin grant requests. That's why when he asked questions, they just stared at him like, what do you mean? We don't have the answer to that. Ask us for something and we'll give it to you. And when he says, I want the holes in my memories filled, as you go farther along, Matt's memories are filled with those of great generals and, you know, all of this. Like, he has all of this battle knowledge from all the great generals over like the history of time. But also he has those men's memories in like segregated parts. So he'll just remember parts of his lives, of his past lives here and there. Second thing he asked for.
This guy's like that, the thing on, you know, that the movie Big, where he's like, I want to be big. These guys are that. They grant the request.
Right. Technically, yeah. And then they extract a heavy price for sure. The second thing he asked for, like I said, free of Aes Sedai, free of the power. You've heard us talk about the Foxhead Medallion and what it does, right, Des?
I don't remember, but I probably heard it.
He wakes up after being dead, and he has this silver medallion around his neck, and it prevents him from being touched with the power. You can pick up a rock with the power and throw it at him, and it will still smash him. But if you try to hit him with fire or balefire or any other kind of weave directly at him, it will hit him and just dissolve.
Whoa.
So he can kind of walk into a battle filled with people with the power and just be like, fuck off, and not really give a shit. And it's really awesome later in the books a lot of times.
God, man.
And he will know because it will go like cold against his chest if someone's trying to channel against him.
Okay, Justin. When you get your dice tattooed on your hand, what numbers are going to be showing?
I've thought about this a lot. I think probably snake eyes, but I want them to do like crowns instead of like, or something from the Wheel of Time, like either a crown or a dragon, something like that.
Ooh, a dragon and a crown.
Yeah, but it'll be snake eyes. It'll just be one of each. So
yeah.
And then I want to write the time to roll the dice in the old tongue on my hand if I can. I know people have that tattoo, but it's fucking sick. So.
All right, I'm officially in now. I was skeptical before. I'm in. I want it. I want to see it.
And I'm just gonna go on a discount. Yeah, Jeremy doesn't have any tattoos. He's a nerd. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm definitely the nerd now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not playing Harry Potter, watching Harry Potter, and listening to Harry Potter books all at the same time at all. I haven't done that one time this week. Oh wait, Desmond, you know me so much, you know I'm not lying.
Oh,
1 year, I got the Order of the Phoenix book, I got the Order of the Phoenix movie, and I'm playing some fire on my broom. What's up? I'm gonna cast some spells at you. No, it's fucking good stuff. I will say this: Book Harry is spicy.
Book what?
Book Harry's spicy.
Oh,
Book Harry.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
He's like one of the later books, the Minister of Magic comes and he's kind of like want him to like, hey, it'd be good if like, the community saw you were siding with the Ministry of Magic. He's like, well, I don't like how you do shit, so you can eat shit. Basically, like it's like, yeah, get him. He says, I don't like how you do things, and he holds up his hand, and you remember the Umbridge made him like write lines where it like scarred his hand. He goes, I don't like how you do things, and just walked away like mic drop. I was like, ooh.
Did you ever see the SNL skit Goblet of Fire? When they recut the trailer, and it's basically like it's showing him and Ron are probably gonna fuck by the end of it, and they keep cutting away. They keep cutting away. Goblet of Fire.
How old is this? Who was it?
Like I said, it was just.
Please tell me he was hosting and it was him.
I don't know. It was literally the trailer recut. Like they didn't they might have actually added a couple scenes, but a lot of it was straight scenes from the movie.
He must have been the host or something. He had to have been. I don't know how they could get away with that. That's hilarious, though.
Yeah, it's so good. Goblet of Fire.
And then the last thing that Matt says is I'd like you guys to I'd like to be able to open a doorway and be away from you. And that's actually how he gets his Ashendar Eye. You don't really realize what it's there for until the end. But
why is that his key out? What is that? That's why he gets it, because that's the only way to get.
Not this time, but later on he goes to something called the Tower of Genji, and it's just a silver tower with no entrance in it. But he can make the sign for the game of snakes and foxes. It's like is it a triangle with two wavy lines, Jeremy?
Yeah,
upside down triangle, something like that. And it kind of opens a magical door into the tower, and you can kind of go in. I think you can go in without having to follow their rules, right, Jeremy?
So you can go in and bring all those things that they ask you if you have.
Right, and still
that's how you can do it.
Kind of, yeah.
No,
they won't like follow they won't follow the treaty though. Like if you follow the treaty, like and don't bring those things, Des, like then they're supposedly not to. They're not supposed to be able to hurt you, but they'll still like trick you into getting lost there till you die, or stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
There's no rules against ropes. Let's just say that. So that's all I got really for this one. And then next chapter is is it all Rand's perspective, Jeremy? I think it is.
Yes, it's all Rand's perspective. Well, it's you're gonna like it. It's time travel, sort of.
Yeah, Des, it is time travel.
Yeah,
dude, I didn't even think about that, Jeremy. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's time travel. You're probably gonna listen to it like several times, because I had to reread it several times.
Oh yes,
you're gonna like it.
So, and in case
you know what, if he doesn't get into it after this one, we should probably just give up. go back to MRU and just say fuck me all the time. Just quit.
You guys are probably wrong. It's probably like 2 chapters away. This is just Rand.
No, it is the next chapter, 1000%.
And just in case we just to make sure we hit the nail on the head, this chapter ends with Matt not being able to breathe, like basically feeling like he's getting choked by magic. So
it's not magic. It's a hemp rope.
Probably
maybe
right.
It's made out of their luscious ginger locks. Disgusting.
Awesome. We'll talk a little bit more here in a minute live. Catch the people up on stuff, but just letting you guys know, thank you for listening. Next week we're going to be talking about chapter 20, the Rising Shadow, chapter 25,
Shadow Rising Shadow, whatever. It's fine.
Wait a minute. Oh, the Road to the Spear. So we'll just be talking about that. And thank you for listening. We're doing this live every Tuesday night. It's going to get a little shaky over the holidays. We got our Tuesdays are landing on rough nights for me during the holidays, so we might just take a 2-week break. We might pop in on some other nights. I'll try to keep you up to date on when we'll be changing to. But so far, Tuesday nights on YouTube, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come join us. Send us some emails at thankthelite@gmail.com. That is thankthelite@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to talk about, or just jump on and talk about these chapters with us. If you're a longtime fan, you can come on here and set Justin straight. If you're new, I think this is a fucking great way to go through the books. I'll come out and say it. If it's your first time through, this is to make sure you might not have to read it 10 more times after this to figure out what the hell's going on. You can just talk it out with us and stay caught up. And that being said, Jeremy, so great to have you. I don't want to welcome you back. I don't want you to feel any pressure to keep coming on, but I'm glad to know that you're not afraid to just pop on every now and then. I think, at least a once a month correction podcast is definitely due. I think you'll probably be doing every 4 to 6 weeks just because you're tired of screaming at an empty screen about everything that we're wrong about.
I just want to welcome him from Jeremy's here, and he has notes.
I had notes. I had things that I've heard, and another thing you guys have talked about too. You were saying that the people in the Wheel of Time were kind of like not literate, but I was thinking last, like, you know what, I would disagree with that, because you think about like guys like Matt, Perrin, Rand, they're like country bumpkins, right? They all know how to read. They all love books. The Aiel were kind of like almost nomadic people, but they are all literate.
They love
in fact,
books.
they love books. Like, it's like one of the things that like when peddlers come through, they buy books. So in reality, I don't know that there's some poor sections in like big cities where they're talking about
Probably, and
people
there's probably
being
some people who
illiterate.
live way the fuck out, too.
Yeah, but like it's actually a pretty literate society, and a
Yeah,
guy
I'll say
like
it's probably
Robert
way more
Jordan.
literate than not.
And they still don't have any idea what's going on, even though they've been reading for 3,000 years.
There's no internet, bro. There's no outposts.
There's people wandering all over the place. There's fucking sailors going all over the place. But
are they believable?
Hey,
can you trust them? They keep talking about this frozen rain falling from the sky. I think it's hooey.
I love how you're still hung up on that. You're like, they don't believe in snow. Come on.
I mean, even if you've never lived in Colorado, again, we have the internet and TV, so we can see it. But I don't know. It's just I think, like I said, I think this story for me would be. I think the story would be better served if the breaking happened 500 years ago and nobody fucking went anywhere for 500 years. I could believe that. They're like, holy shit, the end is coming. Let's just stay in our
that is what happened.
It's not. A lot of people, there's still trading. Like I said, there's sailors taking goods from port to port. Like,
but here's the thing.
This is
like, if you were like, if you lived in, I don't know, like New Orleans in the 1600s, right? And you're like, well, it's definitely never snowed in New Orleans. I can almost guarantee you that. It doesn't get cold. And you've never really seen a day where it gets above like 72 or below 72. And you've never met
someone who's from Colorado.
Or even if they did, you'd be like, dude, you're not going to, where I come from, there's snow. Like, what's that? Because I've never seen it.
Messing with me.
But still, by the time you're 80, people would have
you would have jumped in your car and drove up there?
No, but people would have come to your town and talked about it, and like you would have this sense in your mind that, okay, this is a thing. I've never experienced it, but I don't believe that an entire generation of people not born in New Orleans are gaslighting me.
I think you believe that a lot people moved around a lot more than they did, and they didn't. You were born in one city or a small town usually. You didn't travel too far from it, and then you usually died in that town.
Okay, now Jeremy, this is 300 years ago you're talking about. I can believe that. 3,000 years ago?
You would say it's even worse. People would
But
move around even less.
But in 3,000 years, your people.
I think the point that Des is making, you're going from a like what was a futuristic magical society to dark ages in a couple of years, to where you had basically electricity, you had cars, you had something that resembled like trains or helicopters. You had people who didn't have disease. You never had famine because they grew everything magically. And then you have none of that. How long would it take you to recover to at least a semblance of where, say, they are now, sailing, cities, palaces, they're making
Wagons.
food. How long would it take you from going from that futuristic, like everything is taken care of society, to nothing, to get to where they are now? And it's taken them 3,000 years. What Des is saying is like, that shouldn't have taken that long to get back to that point.
Yeah, that's kind of like, I think that this story would ring truer to me, that everyone is still so lost and dumbfounded by other cultures. If it was, again, if something terrible, if World War III happened today and we all ran to in our huts for 100 years,
right,
and then came out, there'd be a lot of fucking questions to answer. But in 3,000 years, I think we
probably would have recovered more than this. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think you would get a distorted sense of travel because the people that we're following travel the whole continent back and forth several times, and they start doing it very quickly through different means.
But even the Aiel, they're fucking, like, we meet these Aiel who are out running around, obviously seeing
those motherfuckers
things,
run 75 miles in a day.
Witnessing different cultures.
Finish your thought.
Just that, yeah. Like, the Aiel are obviously at least some of them are well traveled. The ones we've met are well traveled. You'd think they would have heard of a man proposing to a woman.
No, but that's not their culture, though.
I know that's not their culture.
Dumb.
No, they're dumbfounded by it. When the girls say it to the Aiel, they're like, "What? The men propose to you?"
You've heard of arranged marriages in India. I'm still dumbfounded by it. I don't get it.
But you'd be like, okay, then
But you wouldn't be completely surprised that it happens.
I don't get the sense when they respond to Nynaeve and Egwene that they've heard.
I still don't understand why this is like perplexes.
Like, because he spends so much time on it. Robert Jordan spends more time with the women talking about where they come from than he does the dragon becoming the dragon. If you're going to spend this much time on it, then I need a better. If you want to talk about magic, I don't need explanation for that. It's fucking magic. You don't have to explain it. It's magic.
Can you just magic it?
Two women talking to each other about their cultures that I feel like they would have at least heard of or read about or come in contact with. Or
yes, but Desmond, you have to think about it. This is a book. This is the way that you can convey the differences between two different people's society by having two people have a conversation about it.
They can have the conversation, but that doesn't mean that they all have to pretend like.
But if they were perplexed, then there wouldn't be any differences between their two societies. If you're like, we only propose, only the ladies propose in my society. That lady would be like, oh, that's okay, that's great. Then you wouldn't be like, oh, I could see there's a cultural divide here. If the other woman is shocked,
it's like It's like me going to Japan and being dumbfounded when they ask me to take off my shoes when I come inside.
No, it's not, because you've seen movies and television and things like that.
But that's what I'm saying. The Aiel have come in contact with this before.
They're very secluded. They almost never leave the Aiel Waste.
That's true.
It sounds like some of them at least are running around traveling outside of the waste.
one of the first things that the women, one of the first.
So you're
things
telling me that 5 years ago is the first in the book. 5 years ago is the first time anybody left the waste.
No,
No.
but it's very rare. Very rare. Like
They certainly don't do it
first,
in mass. They did it one time, the Aiel War.
Yeah,
That's the
one of the first things
that
that the ladies say that you first meet that are the Aiels is like, we've never seen water that you couldn't step across.
right.
Again, it seems like they're more.
He's still perplexed.
It seems like they're more well-traveled than that. If you can run 100 miles a day, you've come across a lake before.
They're all liars.
Not in the Sahara Desert, you haven't.
100. You can run 100 miles a day, and you've never seen anything but desert.
He is, dude. He's like, what? Why don't they just look it up on the internet? I don't understand.
Again,
why don't they just Google it? This is some bullshit. This story.
I'm just saying. Well, the only reason I'm upset.
I get what you're saying, dude.
Because this is
it.
This is easily fixed. With the breaking happened not as long ago, and
Robert
nobody fucking went anywhere for 300 years. That I can believe.
Right. If I could,
but they really don't.
Yeah, Jeremy's right.
You really have to understand.
They really
don't. They don't. Like,
okay,
you're seeing like very small. It's why people are perplexed when they're like, "Oh, I've seen snow." You're talking to the 1% of the 1%. That's the people who we're following.
Robert Jordan is basing most of his writing on his experiences, and a lot of his experiences, especially some of the ones that have to deal with other cultures, were in like Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia.
They probably don't fucking Kentucky. Know what snow is, bro.
Okay.
They probably are like, you're crazy, white man, because they didn't have the internet. They live in these villages in the jungle and they fish all the time and they don't see, anybody. So like you think about that, and that was happening in like the 70s.
So if we're following the 1% of the 1%, then wait until we go back to their village for the people to shit their pants about their culture. If this 1% of 1% is moving around the country and they've seen things before, then let their first interaction be like, I think what you're doing is weird, but I've heard tale of it. And then when you go visit their village and those people haven't left in 3,000 years, let them be totally confused by the concept of a man proposing to a woman. Not the one who's not the 1% of the 1% that's well-traveled that we are currently dealing with in the story.
I don't think he's going to get it. I don't think he's going to get it.
It's like you go to the Philippines, they eat balut, the fermented like dead baby chicken, but
it's still going to be shocking when you see
it. It's still going to be shocking if someone throws it in fucking front of you. And if you decided to somehow disapparate with a pile of snow for someone in the Philippines who's never left their village, they're going to shit themselves and say, what the fuck is this? They probably barely know what ice is. You can freeze water? What? It's 90 degrees here all the time. This is insane.
Makes no sense. I got a balut story for you too. This is hilarious. So a guy that I work with, he's the whitest man. He's from Iowa. He's like a big, goofy white dude. He's hilarious. I love him.
He's the whitest man.
But he's married to a Filipino lady, and her dad would eat balut with him. And I was like, wow, you actually ate balut? He's like, I like it. And so he brought it to work. He brought it to work.
Have you ever tried it?
No, I would not even know. You couldn't put a gun to my head and make me eat that stuff. But so he put it in the microwave and it exploded in the microwave at work.
Oh, that's worse than fish. You're fired.
He had to take it outside. He had to take it outside and like take it apart and clean it, like deep clean it. He's like, it was so disgusting.
Buy a new one.
Microwaves are $50. Throw that motherfucker in the dumpster. I'm not cooking anything in that. I'm not cooking my cup of noodle with their balut guts.
I don't know when he did it, but listen, we still have the same microwave, I think, and I've used it. So
I would have bought it even afterwards and have been like, I can't. That's like someone. We microwave some dog shit in there. Okay, cool. I'll just get a new one. It's fine.
I was
gonna try it one time. My daughter's friend is Filipino. Her family, like her whole family, lives in the Philippines. And she like had some sometimes. And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. And she like bit it. I'm just like,
Nope.
That's the beak.
Can't do
I'm
it.
good. Russell, the girl's dad, his best friend Stacy is married to a Cambodian gal, like real deal Cambodian. Like her family was killed by the Khmer Rouge Cambodian.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, her sister was taken for prostitution because she was pretty, and they killed her male relatives. And she went into a work camp.
Trigger warning. Dump.
Sorry,
dump.
Sorry, it was crazy. But she was the one who taught Lisa how to cook like a lot of like Filipino food and shit. And Russell went over there to Cambodia with them, and he was telling us about just all the crazy. He's like, oh, my favorite thing was like the deep fried scorpions on a stick. He's like, they're delicious.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like a little deep fried like crab satay or something. I'm like, okay.
All right. All right. All right.
Deep fry them crickets, brother. I'll eat them.
All right. Come back next week when we talk about the foods of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
A chilled monkey brains.
Chilled monkey brains. God, I was horrified of that, and the snakes too. I want to cut the fucking snake open, babies. Ugh.
All right, suck it, you lying goat fathers.
You sons of goats. Get it right.
Sons of motherless goat.
Sons of motherless goats. Their curse words are weird.
Oh, most important thing, this is a little bit late, but retroactive. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent, i.e. We Mixed It LLC and Sounds Awesome, respectively.
Does it still count when it comes from you?
Well, you guys don't have to take it. Does. Well, it's still mine. My company, my LLC is still set outside of my dumb opinions.
That's true.
I agree with Desmond. Sometimes I say stuff I don't believe in either, so it's the same thing.
The company owns it.
Going for a laugh. Sometimes maybe it's not all jokes are appropriate or land correctly, and for that, I apologize.
Hey, they can't all be home runs.
They can't all be home runs, man. Sometimes we hit some dribblers up the middle. It's just
That's right.
is what it is.
There you go.
May you always find water and shade, nerds.
Later, nerds.
Done. Fool! Leave your computers open. We'll see you next week.
Motherless
I have
sons
a
of
phone.
goats.
Do I have to do that?
Yes.
Leave my phone open? Okay.
Don't close the app.
Probably
I'm
if
gonna
I
go take a
leave,
leak.
I know
You guys keep the volume on.
I'm gonna crank it up.
Take the phone with you, bro. Please. We need a stinger. Please go pee on camera. You can do it, Jeremy.
He doesn't put any stingers in anymore.
No.
That's why you got to go pee right now on camera.
It used to be my favorite part of the show.
I know. I've gotten lazy.
All right, man. Take it
That
easy, guys.
That being said, Justin, I know
You froze.
I know I've been pretty fast. This one won't be out until tomorrow.
Oh wow,
that's fine. I've actually been not even like
so disappointed in you.
Yeah, well, Des, try not to suck so much.
Yeah, you need to work on that.
Yeah, no wonder this podcast isn't successful, you piece of shit.
There's our stinger.
I love you guys. Bye.
Later.